What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a mid-taper on my boy, so stay tuned. He came in looking a little crazy today, so we made sure we saturated the hair and comb everything in place, making sure our canvas is nice and neat. Now that we're done cleaning up our canvas, we can move on to the back and create our first guideline using our Gold FX. Now that we're done bottoming them out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. You always want to make sure you create this guideline around 1 inch thick so you can spread the blend. We're then going to slightly close the lever midway and all the way close and attack that initial guideline. Make sure to use your opposite hand to either stretch the skin or comb the hair. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our 1 guard all the way open and create our third guideline. We're going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up this line and get ready for the half guard. We are right underneath the occipital bone, so you want to make sure you detail and spend as much time here. Now that the line is soft enough, we're moving on to our half guard and we're going to try to erase the line completely using our corners and the lever. Now that we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our 2 guard all the way open and create our fourth guideline. We're using the comb to feed the hair into the clipper while flicking out as much as we can. We're also going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up the line and get ready for the 1.5 guard. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you want to show some extra support, go follow my Instagram. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 2 guard, we can move on to our 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Always make sure to use your lever and its corners. Sometimes there's still a faint line after using your 1.5 guard, so switching over to your 1 guard all the way open and using its corners will definitely help. Now we're moving on to our 3 guard all the way open and we're making sure we flick out as much as possible while feeding the hair into the clipper using our comb. Now we're moving on to our clipper oval comb method, we're going to use our horizontal cuts to make sure we debulk as much as possible, and our vertical cuts to make sure we blend as much as possible. Here we're debulking the sides with a little bit of clipper oval comb, and we're also going to use some shear work. Moving on to the side taper, we're going to use our Goat FX to create our first guideline, and we're going to make it into a curved shape. We're also going to shave off his sideburns and make sure his face is nice and clean. Now that we're done bottoming him out, we're going to move on to the back ear line and line it up, starting off at the bottom, working our way to the top arch using the corners and making sure the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer. Now we're using our foil shavers to remove the stubble and make sure everything's nice and bald. Now that we're done balding them out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. We also want to follow that same curved shape. Now that we're done attacking that initial guideline, we can move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. Remember, we're going to use the lever to soften up this line and get ready for the half guard. This is going to help us collect to the no guard all the way open. Now we're using our half guard to make sure the line between the no guard all the way open and the one guard all the way open is completely blended out. Using our two guard all the way open, we're going to create our fourth guideline and use the comb to feed the hair into the clipper. Remember, we're going to use this same guard and its lever to soften up the line and get ready for the 1.5 guard. Now we're moving on to the 3 guard all the way open, and we're going to continue to debulk the side taper. We're making sure the transition between the complete baldness and the bulk on top is completely smooth and unrigid. Here we're using our clip oval comb to make the sides as clean as possible and take care of any weight lines. Now that we got our rough draft, we're detailing as much as possible with our previous guards, including the 2 guard and the 1.5 guard. Using our Gold FX, we're going to line up a C cup, starting off at the bottom and working our way to the top arch. Going back to my 1 guard all the way open, I'm using its corners to detail as much as possible. Before we do our shear work on top and on the sides, we're going to make sure the hair is nice and saturated so I can get its true length. Now that the hair is nice and saturated, I'm going to comb everything in place. Starting off in the front, we're going to grab our first guideline and show them the length we want to cut and continue it through the top of the capitus, connecting it to the sides. When using your shears, you want to make sure you grab the hair with the comb, feed it into your fingers as tight as possible, stretch it as much as possible, and cut it with your cutting blade. As you can see, I'm connecting the sides to the top and making sure everything is nice and smooth. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. If you made it this far into the video, leave a comment down below of my subscriber count. I'm 100% gonna reply to it. Now that we're done with our shear work, we're gonna move on to our Turkish razor and Derber premium blades and make them as crispy as possible. But before we do that, we're gonna apply some shave gel so our razor could glide better. using the razor, you want to make sure you stretch the skin as much as possible with your opposite hand and keep the razor at a 45-degree angle. This lowers the likelihood of you cutting someone. What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a mid-taper on my homies, so stay tuned. We started off by separating the top from the sides and combing everything in place, making sure we have a nice and neat canvas. Now that we're done laying everything down, we can move on to our 3-guard all the way open and debulk the sides. Now that we're done debulking the sides, we can move on to our Go to FX and create our first guideline in the back. You always want to make sure you contour this guideline to the head shape, and also don't press too hard with your trimmers because then you're going to make the bald line harder to take out. Now that we're done balding them out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. You always want to make this guideline around 1 inch thick so you can spread the blend. Also, don't forget to stretch the skin with your opposite hand, it gives you more space to blend. Once you're done setting in that guideline, you want to slightly close the lever midway and all the way close and attack that initial guideline. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our 1 guard all the way open and create our 3rd guideline. We're also going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up the line and get ready for the half guard. Also, remember you are right on top of the occipital bone, so you want to make sure you spend more time here and detail as much as possible. Now that we're done with our 1 guard, we can move on to the half guard and erase the line completely. Make sure to use the lever and its corners to erase the line. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, check out my Instagram if you guys want to see my posted pictures. Now that we're done with the lower guards, we can move on to our 2 guard all the way open and create our 4th guideline. We're then going to use this same guard and its levers to soften up the line and get ready for the 1.5 guard. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 2 guard, we can move on to the 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Remember to use its lever and its corners. Now we're heading back to our 3 guard all the way closed and we're going to debulk the sides. Now I'm detailing with my previous guards, and I'm making sure I use my corners and lever to make sure I get every soft line that I see. Moving on to the side taper, we're going to use our FX to create our first guideline and make sure it's at a curved shape. Now that we're done budding them out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. You want to also remember to follow that same curve shape when you're doing a side taper, especially when it's a small area. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. Remember, we are using its corners because it is a small area. Now we're moving on to our half guard, and we're going to use our corners to erase the line completely. Always make sure to detail as much as possible. You can never over detail. Now we're switching over to our two guard all the way open, and we're creating our fourth guideline. This guideline is going to help us blend into the 1.5 and also the 3 guard on top. Now we're moving on to our 1.5 guard, and we're erasing the line completely using our corners and its lever. Moving on to our FX, we're going to start off at the bottom, working our way to the top arch, using our corners, making sure we go as slow as possible, making sure that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmers. Also, make sure not to press too hard because you could bite them with the teeth of the trimmer. Now that we put a line in, we're able to detail the taper some more. Here I'm detailing with my previous guards, making sure I get every light spot. Now we're making sure we blend the sideburns in. I always start off with my no guard all the way open, just like my tapers. Moving on to his front line, we debulked with the one guard all the way open, going with the grain, and now we're switching over to our Gouda effects, starting off in the middle, working our way to the sides, making sure he's as crispy as possible. You always want to make sure you go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then the hair will shift and you won't line them up properly. When I'm lining up my C-cups, I always start off at the bottom and work my way to the top arch using my corners. You always want to make sure you be careful here, because if you push them back, they will be mad. Always add some finishing touches when you're done lining up. It just makes things pop out a little bit more. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you leave a comment down below of my subscriber count, I'm 100% gonna reply to it. Now that we're done lining them up, we can move on to our Turkish razor Derby Premium blades and make them as crispy as possible. But before we use the razor, we always apply some shave gel so that the razor could glide better. When you're using a razor, you want to make sure you stretch the skin as much as possible with your opposite hand and keep the razor at a 45-degree angle. This lowers the likelihood of you cutting someone.